Once upon a time, in a land where the clouds danced with the mountain peaks and the rivers sang songs of old, there was a little village named Willamere. It was hidden deep in a green valley, where birds chirped lullabies and the trees whispered stories to the wind. In this village lived a curious little girl named Elara. She had big, bright eyes like two shiny chestnuts and a laugh that tickled the air like the flutter of butterfly wings. Elara was not like the other children. While they loved to play in the meadows or chase frogs near the stream, Elara would sit beneath the great willow tree, a giant, ancient tree that stood at the center of the village, and ask it questions. "Why do the stars twinkle at night?" she'd whisper. "Where does the moon go when the sun wakes up?" Of course, the tree never answered, or so everyone thought. One quiet afternoon, when the breeze was soft and the sun painted everything in golden light, Elara sat by the great willow again. This time, something felt different. The leaves rustled not with wind, but with purpose. "Elara," came a voice, soft and deep like the earth itself. She looked up, wide-eyed. "Lou, who said that?" "It is I, the spirit of the willow tree," the voice replied, its tone gentle yet old and wise. Elara's mouth dropped open, but before she could speak, the tree continued. "You have a kind heart and a curious mind, and the world needs both right now." "Needs me?" she asked, blinking. "There is a forest far beyond the hills," said the tree, called Evergalum. "It was once a place of joy and magic, but now it is asleep cursed with silence and sadness. The creatures of the forest have forgotten how to sing, how to smile. The magic is fading." Elara clutched her little satchel nervously. "But I'm just a girl." "That is why you are perfect," said the tree. "Only someone pure of heart can wake the forest." Before Elara could decide whether to be excited or afraid, the bark of the tree creaked open, revealing a hidden hollow glowing with soft green light. Inside was a silver acorn, shimmering with tiny stars. "This," said the tree, "is the Acorn of Whispers. It can guide you when you're lost and protect you when you're afraid. Take it, Elara." With trembling hands, Elara reached in and picked up the acorn. As soon as her fingers touched it, a warm light wrapped around her, and she heard a whisper not from outside, but from within. "Thank you," it said. "I've waited so long." That evening, as the village tucked itself into bed, Elara packed her satchel with a loaf of bread, her favorite blue scarf, and the Acorn of Whispers. She tiptoed past sleeping chickens and quiet doorways, her heart thumping with wonder and fear. The moon watched over her as she crossed the bridge and walked toward the edge of the valley. She didn't know what waited beyond, only that it was important. She had taken no more than 50 steps when she heard a strange sound, a soft jingling like tiny bells. From the shadows stepped a creature no taller than her knee. It wore a coat made of moss, had pointy ears and bright green eyes. "Hello," it chirped. "Are you the willow's chosen one?" I guess I am," Elara said. "Splendid," the creature grinned. "Name's Pip. I'm your forest guide. We've got a long journey ahead, and you'll need my help." With that, Pip did a little cartwheel, then began to walk ahead, whistling a tune that made the flowers lift their heads. Elara followed, her steps unsure but growing bolder with every footfall. As the stars glowed brighter and the wind hummed a lullaby, Elara and Pip disappeared into the woods, beginning a journey that would change not just Evergalum, but Elara herself. Elara walked through the thickening forest, her feet crunching softly on fallen leaves. Moonlight filtered through the high canopy above, painting silvery patterns on the path. Pip danced from stone to root, humming and chatting as if the woods were an old friend. "Evergalum's deeper in," Pip explained, "past the winding creek. through the whispering pines, and over the singing cliffs. Elara blinked. Singing cliffs? Oh yes, Pip said, twirling a stick like a baton. They used to sing songs of joy, but now they only hum in sadness. We'll need to wake them up. As they travelled deeper, the trees grew taller, the air cooler. Strange glowing mushrooms lit parts of the path in soft blues and purples. Elara marvelled at tiny fireflies the size of sugar grains that blinked in rhythm like a lullaby. Eventually, they reached the winding creek. Its waters moved in swirling circles, never flowing in a straight line. A small wooden bridge crossed it, but halfway across, Elara froze. A shape stood on the other end, tall, still, watching. "Who's that?" she whispered. Pip narrowed his eyes. "Don't move. It's a shadow fern." "A what?" "They were once gentle guardians of Evergalen," Pip explained quietly. "But the curse turned many of them bitter. They don't like trespassers." The shadow fern took a slow step forward. Its face was hidden by long, leafy tendrils, and its arms dragged along the ground like vines. It made a sound like rustling leaves and low thunder. Elara clutched the silver acorn in her hand. She could feel its warmth, a gentle pulse against her palm. "You can do this," Pip whispered. "The acorn listens." Elara took a shaky breath and held the acorn up. "Please," she said softly. "We're not here to hurt you. We want to help Evergalen." The shadow fern paused. For a moment, all was still. Then, the creature slowly raised one leafy arm and pointed to the sky. A single tear of golden sap rolled down its barky cheek. Then it stepped aside. "You did it," Pip beamed. "You showed kindness. That's the key." Elara smiled with relief, her courage growing. They moved on, passing through the whispering pines. The trees there were close together, and the wind made them whisper words just out of reach. Elara thought she heard her name once. Another time, she thought she heard a lullaby her mother used to sing. As they continued, the forest became darker. The ground turned rocky, and they began climbing a steep hill. At the top stood the singing cliffs. Once, music had filled the air here, but now there was only silence. "Place the acorn on the stone," Pip said, pointing to a flat surface shaped like a heart. "It remembers this place." Elara gently placed the acorn on the stone. Instantly, a soft hum began. It rose slowly, like morning light. A low tone at first, then higher, sweeter. The cliffs began to shimmer. The air filled with sound-soft chimes, echoes of laughter, echoes of music from long ago. Flowers bloomed along the cliffside, bursting in pinks, yellows, and blues. A warm wind lifted Elara's hair. "The song," Pip whispered. "They're waking up." The path beyond the cliffs glowed with tiny golden lights. Elara picked up the acorn, now warm and glowing brighter. "The deeper we go," Pip said, "the closer we get to the heart of Evergalen and the curse itself." They followed the glowing path into a thicket of trees that stood like tall, silent statues. The farther they went, the quieter the forest became, until not even a breeze stirred. At the center of this stillness stood a gate made of twisted vines and silver bark. Symbols glowed faintly across its arch. "This is the Gate of Dreams," Pip said. "It leads to the inner heart of the forest." "How do we open it?" "Only the brave may pass," Pip said softly. "You must face a memory, one that made you feel small or sad or scared." The vines shimmered. A soft mist rose. Then suddenly, Elara found herself alone. The trees were gone. Pip was gone. She stood in her village, by the riverbank, the day her best friend had moved away. She had cried, feeling forgotten, left behind. No one had known how sad she was. She had buried that feeling deep. "I remember this," she whispered. "I didn't think anyone noticed." The mist shifted. A glowing figure appeared beside her herself, but younger, holding a dandelion, crying softly. "It's okay to be sad," the younger Elara said. "It means you cared." Elara reached out and hugged the memory of herself. The moment shimmered, and the forest returned. The gate of dreams stood open. Pip was beside her again, eyes wide. "You did it." Elara looked down at the acorn. It now glowed with swirling colors, hope, courage, and memory. They stepped through the gate together. Ahead, the trees changed. They no longer stood dark and quiet. There were tiny lights in the branches, hints of music in the wind. The heart of Everglade was close, but so was the source of the curse. Elara and Pip stepped into the heart of Everglade. The trees here were ancient, taller, wider, and glowing faintly with memories of magic. But at the center of it all stood a withered tree, blackened and silent. Around it, the forest had stopped breathing. "That's the heartwood tree," Pip whispered. When it fell silent, the forest did too. Elara approached it slowly. The ground was cold. The air, heavy. She held the silver acorn in her hands. Suddenly, the wind howled. Shadows swirled from the roots of the tree, forming a tall, cloaked figure with hollow eyes. "Who dares wake me?" The figure hissed. Elara took a deep breath. "My name is Elara. I came to help. This forest deserves joy again." "There is no joy left," it said. "Only silence. Only sorrow." "No," she said firmly. "There is always hope." The acorn pulsed in her palm. It rose from her hands and floated into the air, spinning, shining. It released a wave of light, soft, warm, golden. It washed over the heartwood tree and the shadow. The figure screamed not in pain, but in release. It faded like mist in sunlight. The tree shimmered, then groaned deep from within. Its bark lightened. Leaves unfurled like waking hands. A single glowing blossom appeared on its highest branch. The curse was broken. The forest sighed in relief. Birds chirped. The trees swayed. Flowers bloomed in every corner. Laughter echoed, distant but real. Pip grinned, eyes shiny. "You did it, Elara." She smiled, tears of joy in her eyes. "We did it." The great willow's voice echoed gently in the wind. "Thank you, child of wonder." When Elara returned to Willowmere, the sky was brighter, the wind softer. The villagers gathered to greet her, their eyes wide with awe and pride. She had left as a curious little girl. She returned as a guardian of stories. And on quiet nights, when the stars twinkled just right, the children of Willowmere would sit under the great willow tree and listen as Elara told them stories of glowing acorns, singing cliffs, brave hearts, and a forest that remembered how to dream.